The representative of Pakistan for the statement. And I now give the floor to the representative of the Russian Federation.
Madam President, Russia supported the convening of today's Security Council meeting with a goal with a focus on the situation in the West Bank. We believe it's unacceptable to further erode international attention toward the task of achieving a just and lasting Middle East settlement, the cornerstone of which was and remains the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. The confrontation, which decades later remains the key irritant in the region, perpetuating its general state of crisis and causing new flashpoints of tension to emerge in the broader Middle East region. We thank the Deputy Special Coordinator of the UN for the Middle East peace process, Ramiz Al-Akbarov, and the Deputy Executive Director of UNICEF, Hanan Suleiman, for their detailed briefings on the situation in the West Bank. We agree with the alarming assessments of these UN representatives. Essentially, the West Bank is approaching a point of no return with a risk of profound destabilization of the military-political situation in the entire region. The reasons for this dangerous trend are well known. They lie in the creeping expansion of Israel and the OPT, the escalation of settlement activity, of settlement violence, and the unprecedented tightening of Israeli restrictions on the movement of Palestinian residents. Against the position of most of the international community, West Jerusalem continues its illegal policy of building new settlements. A few days ago, the government issued yet another tender for the construction of over 600 housing units in the province of Ramallah and Al-Bira. Settler violence has reached extreme levels, and it's carried out not only with impunity, but sometimes with the connivance of Israeli soldiers. In late July, early August, there was a wave of attacks carried out in a number of cities in which radicals burned mosques, ravaged homes and vehicles, and dozens of people were injured. According to openly available sources, this settler violence is reaching tragic new levels. Since the beginning of this year, over 11,000 attacks have been committed. Israeli civilians have killed over 20 West Bank civilians. In parallel, we're seeing intensifying IDF operations to clear West Bank towns and refugee camps. These armed raids are accompanied by arbitrary arrests of Palestinians and large-scale restrictions on their movement. Especially troubling is the fact that due to these measures, the largest Palestinian towns are blockaded and even emergency medical services have been suspended. We call on Israel to refrain from any arbitrary measures, including settlement activity, that undermine the prospects for a two-state solution, as well as to take effective measures to curb settler violence and to immediately return to implementing relevant UNSC and GA resolutions. Madam President, of equal concern is the volatile situation in another part of the OPT, that is Gaza. The practical implementation of the American peace plan for Gaza has essentially stalled. Certainly, it's important to note that thanks to the efforts of mediators, large-scale bloodshed has ceased in the enclave. However, the ceasefire regime continues to be systematically violated, mainly by Israel. This is clearly demonstrated by the numbers of victims. In less than a year since the formal entry into effect of the ceasefire, Israelis have killed almost 1,300 Palestinians. Among them, according to UNICEF figures, there are almost 300 children. That means that over the past 300 days in Gaza, on average, one child has been killed per day by Israeli soldiers. Despite this tragic reality, here at the Security Council, a number of Western delegations have, over the past few months, placed the entire responsibility for the stagnation of the Gaza peace plan on Hamas alone. We all recall how during Security Council meetings, the leadership of Hamas were insistently called upon to immediately lay down their arms, not to hinder the work of the National Committee for the Administration of Gaza, and to accept the roadmap of the High Representative of the Board of Peace, Nikolai Mladenov. We'd like to hope that our Western colleagues will show the same unity and resolve with regard to the other party to the conflict in light of the public rejection of the roadmap by West Jerusalem, while Hamas has agreed to the deal. Madam President, we repeatedly noted that success of any peace initiative on Middle East settlement will be measured by the achievement of its chief goal, the creation of a single, independent, and contiguous state of Palestine and the West Bank and Gaza, with its capital in East Jerusalem. The creation of a state coexisting in peace and security with Israel. As demonstrated by the experience of the past few years, it's impossible to resolve the Palestinian issue, as well as the entire spectrum of Middle East settlement issues, hastily or through the promotion of ad hoc backroom schemes. Equally futile are attempts of certain countries to monopolize the role of mediator, especially when the principal mediator acts solely in the interests of one side of the Arab-Israeli conflict. Under these circumstances, one can hardly expect to see justice or the fulfillment of the aspirations of the Palestinian people. However, an alternative path remains open. Achieving lasting stability and an improved situation in the Middle East is possible and necessary through coordinated international and regional efforts that rely on the extensive international legal basis for settlement, the cornerstone of which is the two states for two peoples formula. Thank you.
I thank the representative of the Russian Federation for the statement, and I now give the floor to the representative of Panama.
Gracias.
Thank you, Madam President.